All right, I am not a professional video taker at any means, nor will I edit this video. So it's gonna be a full-on go through on tire gluing and how I do it and how to do it good and make sure nothing ever comes unglued or you have any failures in any way. So the things you're gonna need is you're gonna need a hole puncher, leather punch. I always keep it on about 1/8 of an inch. If yours is in millimeters, do the conversion. About 1/8 of an inch holes are correct. I only use Loctite Professional Super Glue. All those fancy glues are just rebranded Loctite Professional. Do not buy Gorilla Glue. Do not buy Loctite, any other brand. No gel, no nothing. Loctite Professional, that's it. It's the only thing you're going to use. They don't have it, don't buy anything else. Nothing else is going to work as good. Some tire bands, rubber bands, anything will do. And I use these little glue tip applicators. You can find them on Amazon for next to nothing. They're really good. And then the last thing is acetone. I buy little nail polish remover containers. They got a nice little pump. I empty it out, fill it with acetone. 100% acetone is what you want. I wouldn't ever recommend using Simple Green. A lot recommend Simple Green, a lot recommend alcohol. But this is one of the best ways to get the mold release on the tires, or mold release off of the tires. So we'll start with a truggy tire first. These are a little harder compared to buggy tires. The first thing I'll do is I'll take it and I make sure there's all the flashing is removed from the inside of the beads. You can see there's a little mold flashing here. Just tear it off just like that. Everything else looks good. We'll start with the hole punch here. We will cut 4 holes in the inside edge of the tire. Since these tires are not directional, you just pick a side, any side is fine. And I will do 4 1/8 inch holes, evenly spaced. So here's 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 holes evenly spaced. 4 holes are going to be for truck, and we typically do 2 holes for the buggy. After we get our holes punched, actually I'll show you on buggy tire real quick. These are a little different. Buggy tires, a lot of times will have these internal ribbings on the tires. The truggy sometimes won't. They'll be smooth, or if a buggy tire is smooth or a truggy has these ribs, vice versa. You want to make sure not to punch in these ribs. These ribs are there for structural purposes, so you do not want to punch a hole through them. So we'll find that space without a rib and we'll punch a hole right through it. Like I said, buggy tires, only 2 holes. So 2 holes directly 180 degrees off each other without punching into that internal ribbing, as you can see right there. We're ready to clean the tires now. We're going to take some acetone. I got my nice little nail polish remover pump and a clean microfiber rag. We're going to wet it, and all this white chalky substance on the bead, we're going to clean that right off. And this is very important. The most important part about gluing tires, if there's one step that you should not skip or cannot skip, this is it. That mold release is like it's a non-stick spray that the rubber releases from the mold when they're made. So if they make that mold release able to shed the rubber from a mold, it's going to shed glue from the tire, just like that. So we want it very, very clean, just like that. You notice a little blue, a little brown, a little black coming off. That's all that mold release coming off, and probably a little bit of that foam I'm hitting. But we're going to make it very, very clean. Just like that. There's a buggy, and we are going to do the same exact thing for the truggy tire. And I'm using a clean spot in the rag for each pass or two, just to make sure I'm not taking that mold release and redistributing it around the bead, because I want that as clean as possible. I want that glue to stick perfectly to the wheels. So we have 2 clean tires. Now for the wheels, if they're sealed until you're about to use them, you don't really need to clean them. You can if you want. You can rub a little acetone on them, but you don't have to clean them. We open them up, they're clean, and we can insert our tire. We always want these holes on the inside of the wheel, just like that. And here we are going to seat the bead. Go all the way around the tire, massage it, and we're going to seat the bead and make it as even as we can. Because if it's even before we glue it, usually it's going to be even after you glue it. Just like that. We're nice and even. It's seated completely all the way around. And we're going to do the same for the truggy. Once again, it's a brand new pack. I'm not going to open it fresh. If you store wheels with your tires, they're going to inherit that mold release on them, or dirt or grime or something like that. So it's not a good idea to not clean them. If they're brand new, you don't need to clean them. At least in my experience. You can, it doesn't hurt to wipe a little acetone on the bead and wait till they dry before you do it. And once again, I'm going to massage the tires and make sure the bead is all pressed into place. The truggy tires are a little bit different. The bead won't settle down as much as the buggy tires without a little help from the tire bands. It is not going to want to sit in the bead as nicely as you can see right here. But we're still going to massage it and get it into place as well as we can. And I always like to put the bands on prior to gluing, which helps a lot. And once again, once the band is on, applying pressure, we're going to seat the beads just like this. Make sure that first bead is perfect and it's flat and we're satisfied with that. And we are going to do the same thing with the truck tire. Truck tire, like I said, is going to be a little harder. The bead pops up a little bit more, but we're going to massage it and we're going to get that perfect bead. Once we're satisfied with the beads, we can start gluing. That's when we're going to take our glue and our glue tip applicator, which they come long and stringy like this from Amazon, about $1 million pack for $1 or $2. I'm actually going to stand up real quick and grab a tool, and we're going to cut it. I like to cut them real short. The shorter they are, the more control you'll have. I like to cut them real short just like that, and they slide right onto the Loctite Professional glue. From here, I'm going to find a known point on the tire. We can start right here where these compound dots are. And I'm going to push the tire down and back. I'm not going to pull it out, because if I pull it out, it can unseat that bead, but I'm going to push it down against that lip of the bead, so when I release it, it always snaps back into place. So I would recommend you practicing pushing down, opening up that bead, and letting go, and ensuring that tire is going back to where it should be. Some people will pull out like that and release, and that bead will pop up to where you don't want it. So practice pushing down and back on the bead, just like this. Once we've mastered that technique, we can start gluing. We'll drop a little glue into each panel. A little extra glue is okay. We're going to try to inject that glue as deep as we can, because it's just going to push out the top. As it pushes out the top, it's going to coat all the surfaces. Once we get back to our start point, I like to give it a little pressure, just like that, to ensure we squish that glue and all the extra glue is getting pushed out. Just like that. You can see I have a bunch of extra glue, and that can be taken care of by a quick, I emphasize the quick press on a microfiber or a paper towel. Just a quick stomp. There's a little bit left. A quick stomp. If you do anything more than that quick stomp, it's going to glue that rag to the tire. But here, there's no extra glue and is ready to dry. Truggy is the same concept, but it's a little harder because the beads don't seat as well. So really practice that pushing down to separate that bead, and make sure you're mastering that technique. You might need to relocate the band, but make sure you can press down and open up that whole bead and get it and release it, have it go back into place properly. Once we've mastered the technique again, we're confident, we can start gluing all the way around the tire. And once again, you want to push that glue as deep as you can into the wheel and tire interface, and it will squish back up and reach the top. So worry about that deep penetration at first, and the rest will take care of itself. And once we're back at the start point, give it that nice big old squeeze. Boom. And then we can stomp it, or we can take the corner of a rag or a microfiber and wipe that excess. And once again, do this very quick, because if you do take more than, I guess, more than a millisecond, it's going to stick that rag and glue that rag right to the tire. But after that, give it 10 or so minutes and take the bands off and repeat it on the other side. Put the band on, seat that bead really good, make sure it's where you want it, and glue the inside. And that's it. That is the only way to glue tires, the best way. Acetone is the only way. There's Simple Green, fuck Adam Drake, fuck everyone else that says Simple Green works. Simple Green is a detergent. It's going to leave a residue and the glue is not going to stick. Acetone only. Loctite Professional, if you're buying Proline glue, Lozy glue, any other glue, you're paying for this glue in a different bottle. I guarantee it. I promise it. So spend the $5 on this bottle of glue and get twice the amount of glue. That's the same. Hole puncher. It's a 1/8 inch hole. Do your calculations. It's about a 2 or 3 millimeter hole. The holes are always going to go in the back. We have 4 for truck and 2 for buggy. If you got any questions, let me know.